Hi all. Right, welcome back. Enemy Action Kharkov, Soviet Solo, take 2. This is going to be part 85. I know I finished part 84 with the intention of joining this part on, but I wasn't sure the German impulse was how long it was going to take. It did take longer, so decided to split this in 2. However, I had already recorded part 85, and between then and now, and I've not recorded anything else since. I was kind of busy with work yesterday, which was quite well. Anyway, an error has been brought to my attention from back in part 59. Okay, that seems like far too long ago to be even been looking at and concerned with, but it's an error on my behalf. It's going to benefit me, so. Okay, usual. 56 seconds in and I get called for something. Yeah, so because it's going to benefit me, I was thinking, and I've had such a hard time recently, and I thought, right, can I maybe possibly fix this? And I think I can. Now, this was brought up by Ramon, I think it's how it would be pronounced, Ramon or Ramon. Not sure. He seems to have quite an eagle eye because he spotted 2 or 3 things on a few of my playthroughs. It's a bit like not keeping up to date, must have other things to do and whatever. A bit like John Brown is, he's a bit behind the times and whatever. As for keeping up to date with things, but I understand that. I'm like throwing things out here, you know. I don't expect everybody to like sit and scour through everything, and as soon as it comes out, we need to watch that next part. But yeah, he's picked up 2 or 3 things. Unfortunately, there's a couple of them I've not been able to do anything about. They've been way far back. Okay, this one's way far back too, Grant. So how can you do anything about it? Well, it involves the isolated unit up the top here. And actually, you're going to see some units out of position just now, aren't you? Yes. Because I'm recording this, I'm going to put this in before I start 85, so yeah, it's a bit of, oh well, you know what, it's not really spoiler. I don't think there's any spoilers showing up there anyway. You're just about to watch the part anyway. But I thought I'd leave it in. I was going to redo the impulse, but I thought I'd leave it in, and then once the impulse is finished, or once the part is at an end, I think we've got an allied. I said that a couple of times recently. A Soviet impulse, and then, or is it a German impulse? I can't remember how it goes. But once the part is finished, what I'm going to do is hopefully fix this error. So I'll record this bit at the beginning, and then the bit at the end, hopefully correcting things, because I think I can do it. Now, I've thought that before on occasion, and realised there's a card drawn out of place or a chip pool or something, and it can sometimes not be as simple. If it does get to that, I'll maybe just need to leave things as they are. Maybe I should just leave things as they are anyway, since it was a way back, far back, but it's fixable, I think. So why not? And it helps me. Because this guy, the error that Ramon picked up on, he could have traced supply back in 59. Now, if you look for his comment on part 59, if you want to look at it, he's got it time stamped. I want to say it's round about the 47-minute mark of the video, but it's got it time stamped in his comment. And if you look there, you'll see that the unit can actually trace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into this hex here, into this unit here. Now, obviously, I was looking about the trace down here and couldn't get it, and then there was the trace along the road but couldn't get it. But this was open at the time, and this was traceable into. The problem was there was units along here, and again, I didn't count hexes, and you can see it. I mean, I'm going to double check it again. In fact, it will be a triple check, because I've already double checked it and it looks fine. It was able to trace in there, and then had a trace. So that is when I moved the unit into isolated state, So he would have not moved into isolated, and he would have actually went back into supply. So, now I've got it written here, part 59, unit should now be in supply. And then part 80, so it's a big jump, nothing really happens up in that area. And I've checked all the footage, that's what I've done last night when I come home from work. I didn't get to play. I thought I'm going to check through all the footage to see if there's anything that affects this, that means I can't fix it. And I couldn't, well, there's a couple of things I need to change. Yeah, so anyway, there's not an awful lot. It really is just the deployment of one of the Rouse units, I think. However, in part 80, the unit should then be in out of supply. So in part 80, it must be moving on to turn... Would that be on to turn 7? Or is that when I move on to turn 9? Yeah, part 80 I think is when I move on to turn 9. So part 59, the check there must have been turn 7. And remember in turn 8... Well, you know what, I can't remember exactly what turn it is. Yeah, but yeah, if in part 59 the unit should have been then in supply in that turn, in that supply phase of that turn, and then part 80, the supply phase of that turn, he couldn't trace supply, so should have been marked out of supply, and that's when I took a step off him because he was isolated, and that's when I took a step off him. But he shouldn't, because he should have been in supply at the time, so he should have just been marked out of supply. So the status of that unit just now should be out of supply. And what should have happened, I say, is the Rouse unit number 1, we had him deployed into this hex, but with that unit being just out of supply and not isolated, this hex, he was going to actually be in dangerous around. So I looked at it and realised we did have a situation where I know we made a right mess of these Rouse units deploying them. Oh, sorry, I made a right mess of that. But this was a hex that was considered at the time. I looked back and was able to deploy them into there. So that's where I think he should have been put instead of there, because he's not in dangerous around there. I know we're out of support, but when it comes down to the preferences, it does check that. And that would have been the hex that he got deployed in. Now you'll then see the following part that's just about to come up, that this unit moves up and attacks here. That's still going to happen, but just with some slight changes, obviously. Because this unit's not going to be isolated. He's also not going to be 3 strength, he's going to be 4. And yeah, so I'm going to show you that after, but I just thought I'd talk about this before, in this part before. Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. I've looked over it, and I know it's one of these messy situations again and that, and you think, well, why are you bothering, Grant? But if I could have done this and it was going against me as well, I would have done it. I mean, if somebody brought up the fact, oh, that German unit, if it had been a German unit, that shouldn't be isolated, that should have been able to trace supply, I would be going back and fixing it like this as well, if I could. Now, some things, yes, you look at them and you say, one of the other ones Ramon picked up on was I made a movement across the minor river with one of the German units, and I didn't count the one movement point for crossing the minor river. One of these things that's quite easy to do, I think. I've probably tried it quite a few times, and who knows, I might have even done it on occasion. But this time the unit wouldn't have actually reached to where it went. But it was that far back, and it was something I just couldn't fix, and I just had to leave that. Now that was probably slightly beneficial to the Germans, leaving it and not trying to fix it as well. So anyway, but this I can fix. Right, let's just leave that at that, and I'll add this bit on at the beginning, and then you can now see what happens, and then I'll bring in the video at the end, making the change to what the final outcome is up here. Basically, it's mainly, yeah, no, I think it's just all about the situation up here. Okay, and the video carries on here as me thinking I was continuing it on from part 84, so I just kind of come in with a, I'm back, and I've just cut that part and whatever. But this is a continuation. It's going to now be a continuation of part 85. Okay, right, cheers guys. Right, hi all. Right, just straight back, like I say, I just wanted to separate that. Right, German impulse, come on. Yeah, why not? Right, it's a camp group. There's nothing to deploy. Right, I really need to see some of your guys, like, after action reports, or I want to see somebody else playing this game. This is brutal. This is brutal. It really is. Yeah, it's not. Can't deploy. It's not turn 1 and 2. It is from turn 5 onwards. The event is air interdiction, which removes the Soviet forward support marker from the map if 2 markers. There's not 2 markers, there's 1 marker. This is coming off. And I'm starting to lose the will. That's their impulse over. Nice and quick turns, I suppose. What would you do now, Grant? Well, we didn't play this, let's go forward support on that. Do we put it back? I don't know, I mean, my plan's all been messed about anyway. I mean, okay, my plan didn't... This was a sort of thing that I was hoping was going to happen. I certainly was hoping for something better than that. A1 out of 8-1 and 7 chip pools. A1. With support. So we can't activate pop off. Right, let me think here. Okay, I was just looking at the possibility of trying again. Obviously can't do it this impulse, but we could activate this stack and this stack. And it's just, that's so frustrating that I split the stack. I split them up, didn't I? And did I not even say that I could have had them all together? Well, I think I maybe could have had them all together in this hex, but then again we brought in the first scourge. But if I activate this stack, this is a strength of 6. This is a strength of 4, so 10. Activate the 2 stacks, and then reinforce battle with this stack. And remember, it's a whole stack, so that's 11. Actually, I wasn't thinking about that. I was only thinking about 8. That's 11 and 10 is 21. That's pretty good. Okay, right, okay, that's... Right, I'm going to play that and just put the forward support back. And yeah, I think it was there. Don't really think it really mattered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think as long as I'm attacking from the 5th hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're outside the 5th hex. I don't think that matters. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm doing. So this is a quick turn. Right, next card we're getting is mobile group pop-off units. We've got one, haven't we? That's 2 we've got. NKVD, combat tactic. Okay, well, I'm glad I did put the forward support down now, because you know that might enable something. I don't know. Okay. Right, that means we can activate anything next turn. The Germans get to go again. Okay. Right, let's just draw another card and see. Like I say, this, I should have maybe said this might have been the start of the turn, but the part, but okay. It's going to happen. Right, it's an activate before or replace, isn't it? So they've now to deploy, activate all units and core rouse. Okay. Right, well, stuff's going to happen. Okay, so we have this one unit here who I think has got an inkling to be moving into here. We've got infantry scattered all over here. So yeah, not sure. We've got an isolated unit up there. Remember, attacking an isolated unit is quite appealing to the attacker because I think they get to ignore any hits that they take. So, just wonder if I should have started this as another part then. Well, I'd cut the video there. I can always just add a wee comment in the header to say that, look, this is the start of part 85 instead of halfway through 84. Okay, so, well, we're going to activate core rouse. Or step 8 onwards. If behind Soviet lines. Remember, we don't care about ending in dangerous shrine. If behind Soviet lines, no, we worked out this guy can trace supply, and all the other guys have been deployed carefully and properly. I'll have you know, eventually. Well, I'm saying that. Did I not get? Martin's maybe not seen one of them. Yeah, well, we'll see. Right, so step 2 is move to VP hex. Okay, so this guy here can move to this VP hex, and he is going to do that. He's not quite able to reach this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but he can reach this one. So let's not mess about. 1, 2, 3, 4. He moves into there, takes that VP town. Back, we lose another victory point. We're down to 18. Remember, 15, and we lose the game at the end of this turn. If we hit 15 and it's the end of turn, we lose. We're at 18. Right, okay, so I think that was only move to VP hex. If start alone in a VP hex, there's none of that, okay. So now we're going to draw some action cards. Right, I'll move the camera up because at least that guy's been dealt with now. Right, okay, so let's get 2 action cards then. Major offensive, what do you think? Bold attack, strong attack. Okay, 7 and 10, so bold attack first. So not a major offensive. Kinda glad because I think they would have mounted an attack on something. Although I still think this could be bad somehow. Have an isolated unit up there. Okay, so situational strength. I'll zoom in on it a little bit. Well, we'll look at it and then I'll zoom back out. Sorry about the angle, it just lets me get round here though. Situational strength of active unit stack greater than or equal to 1.5 times proximate Soviet unit stack. And then it would then all active units, proximate target, move to target, attack, prefer weakest, may move in dangerous round, and right, and it's got engineers on the combat tactics. So if we've got any IPs, we ignore them, checking situational strength. Okay, so 1.5 times, but it's just active unit stack, and the check. So I don't think any of these units are stacked, are they? No, they're all by themselves. So let's have a look at Mr. Isolated up here though. So he is a 3. He's a 3 strength and isolated on the top. Isolated only. If all defenders in combat are isolated, attacker gains 2 combat chits and disregards all attacker hits. Okay, so there you go, that's what that does. Right, but it doesn't, well, it does affect, it does affect situational. Yeah, it gives a -2 for being isolated, yeah. Okay, so what's the thing on the card? It's a 2. It's a 2 value in the card, so I'm not getting a minus for that. It's not major offence, so I'm not getting a minus for that. He will get a -2, however. So he's a 3, so he's a 1. Yeah, he's a 1. All defending units dispersed. Oh, he's less than a 1. Well, he can't be less than a 1. Because he gets a -1 for being an unsupported hex as well. And there's no pluses for him. It's not got an IP, it's not got a defender adjacent. So he actually gets -3 and he's 3. So, but you have to have a minimum situational strength of 1. So that's 5 to 1. And he's only looking for 1.5 to 1. We were looking in ascending order. This unit is not unit number 1. So, yeah, there's a possibility here we are now going to lose. Well, the thing is, I don't think he's going to be able, no, he's not going to get any help, is he? Because they're all infantry. And this guy's surrounded. None of these guys are going to reach, are they? 1, 2, in fact it's 1, 2, 3, and he's stuck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's on his own with us, in actual fact. However, he does satisfy the situation of 1.5 to 1. Even though he's on his own, he's got 5 to 1. All active units proximate to qualifying target move to target and attack. Right, hold on, Grant. I mean, I'm not so sure you're beating a 1 anyway, but we are looking for weakest target. I mean, he could go. Well, that guy's a 5. -1, -2. Was -1 for supply, -1 for being unsupported. So he's a 3. These guys are only a 3. But they got +1 for that, -1 for being unsupported. So they're still a 3. This is too strong. I don't even think this guy can 1, 2, 3. Well, he can actually. Or can he? 1. He can't go in there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he actually can't get down here. So you could only get down on that guy when that's 5 against. What did I say? It's 5, but it's a -2, so it's 3. So 3 is not weaker than 1. Grant. Yeah, it's him. It's him against him. That's what's going to happen. So right, hang on. Let's just check the card again. So all active units move to qualifying target, move to target and attack. Sorry, all active units proximate to qualifying target, move to target and attack. Prefer weakest. Okay, mend and move in dangerous round. Yeah, and he's not going to be breaking any other restrictions there. No, I don't even need. Yeah, he's not. So if greater than or equal to 5 steps of attack and break off at A2, otherwise A1. So he's going to break off at A1 because he's only got 3 steps. But you can see him moving adjacent there is not breaking any restrictions. He doesn't care about ending in dangerous round if that happened to be the case. Remember, this guy doesn't exert his own control as well, so. Okay. Right, let's get this guy moving then. I can probably just. I don't need to move the camera, I can just leave it at that. I'll get this attack done and dusted. Okay, so where is he moving to then? Does he? Because he has. Remember, this hasn't got his own control, so where's his options? I mean, obviously these 2, but can he get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? He can actually get in there. Like I say, remember, this doesn't exert his own control. 1, 2, that would be 3, 4, 5, 6 though. Oh, no. He's infantry, Grant. Sorry. That's not 1, 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can actually get around there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? He can hit any hex. He can hit any hex. Because that guy doesn't exert his own control. He's infantry. It costs him 1 to move into broken. It doesn't cost him crossing the minor river. It costs him 2 to move into the woods. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can hit any hex. Right, what one's he going for then? Well, he can't get surround. And then there's not the issue of adjacent to a German unit, yada yada. Empty hexes are all empty. Most movement points to reach. Well, it's going to be one of the two round the back then. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it could be either one of the two. It's going to break down the lowest hex. That's going to be this one then. That'd be the lowest hex number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think so. Right, just slow down a little bit though, Grant. Okay, right, let's see what he's got then. So he's got 5 strength just now, however he's got engineers as a combat tactic, so we might as well get that sorted first. Because there's no IP which he would remove, he gets to add 2 strength. So he's actually got 7 strength against our 3. We're not looking situational anymore. So 7 to 3 is 2 to 1. So he gets 2 to 1 odds. His ship pools at the moment is 3 steps, so that's 1, 2. 1 for the engineers is 3. However, we're isolated. So drawing combat checks. Plus 2 checks if the defender is isolated. So 2 for himself, 1 for the engineers is 3, and then on our 2, because we're isolated, is 5. Okay, and then he's going to draw a combat tactic. What should we get? Oh, it's Army Group South. Well, that could be... Right, intelligence and artillery. I suppose it's a good card to get out of the way. Intelligence and artillery. So yeah, he's going to add both of them. So, well, that adds another 2 chit draws, so that's 7. We know what artillery does, we just can't quite remember what intelligence does. I think it means we can't play a card, but I don't think we were going to be able to anyways, because he's isolated, I would have thought. So intelligence, German attack. The German CV is considered to be 5. And it is only a 2. You can't play Soviet combat tactics, that's fine. If the printed CV is 4 or 5, increase Soviet hits by 1. 5 plus. If the attacked hex is not in Soviet support, disregard the first hit. Well, he's disregarding all the hits. That's not doing it. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Because it's considered the card, this core rouse card is considered the 5. So it is actually doing something. I was just wondering there if it didn't do anything at all, what might happen. But it does do that, so that's good enough for me. So still 2 to 1 odds, 7 chip pools. The chip pools are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 for being isolated, 7. Right, we can't play cards. He's going to break off at A1. It was based on steps, wasn't it? Yeah, he's only 3 steps, so he's going to break off at A1. Well, you know what? He can't get a result at A1 because he gets to ignore all hits. Yeah, attacker gains 2 combat checks and disregards all attacker hits. Jolly good. So, and then to eliminate as well. Well, you know what? Let's just start drawing. Well, because we can only retreat. It is mechanised, isn't it? Yeah, it is grand. Infantry or cavalry can't move. Mechanised unit can't move or retreat. Well, there you go then. And he's 2 steps, isn't he?
Well, we are in the city, so he needs D3 to eliminate us, because we're going to soak up one in the city, and then sit there and take 2 hits. So D3. Okay. Right, go for that. Right, I think we're ready. So minimum of 2, and then draw them individually. He has 2 steps. Yeah, because he was a 3-stepper. Right, okay, I'll get the first 2. Okay, nothing doing yet. NKVD, and it was 5-1 on the other side. This was 5-1 on the other side, 3-1 on this side. He's only got 2-1 odds, remember, 7 against 3. So we'll start drawing them. Yeah, I'll keep drawing them individually. And like I say, he's not going to break off, so. But he might hit D3. So I'll draw them one at a time. Okay, that was 7-1 in the front, flank attack. You know, the sort of chits I wanted before, 7-1 and that. Yeah, not in my combat, in this combat, so it doesn't apply, so I'll get the 4th. Alright, so I'm just thinking, just before I draw that, I told you that was 5-1. Look, 5-1. 5-1. 7-1. Every one of the chits would have applied to that last combat of mine, in a good way. Right. And there's another one. 6-1, D2, bang, look at that. You know, that would have been perfect. It's got 4-1 in the back, so it's still not counting for them. They've got 3 more to get. First chit that applies, and do you want to know what it was in the front? 5-1 again, D1. Yeah, shocker. Okay, their first hit is a replenished chit, so we get all the other chits set aside back. That is D1, so at the moment that would only take the town hit away. Oh, sorry, the city hit away. So at the moment we're still sitting okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's only 1 chit to come. Right, here we go. Yeah, I thought I was getting away with that. 7-1 on the other. 7-1, right? Did you hear me? 7-1. Look, D2, 7-1. Can you tell if I'm bitter or not? It's got a large attack on the other side, so it is going to be a large attack, unfortunately. So it is going to be D2, and remember, all his hits are soaked up. So that's the 7 chits. They will get shuffled back into the cup as well now, because we do replenish, and we are taking D2. Yeah, I just can't believe the chits. That was ridiculous. Okay, so 1 hit is soaked up by the town. Right, and then we can't retreat, we've got to take 1 hit, so this is, oh no, he just flips, doesn't he? That's a reduced counter. So he takes his hit, he's still isolated. Now the real bad part about that, I suppose, is that if he's still isolated come the start of the next supply phase and he can't trace supply, then he's going to be, not eliminated, he's going to be destroyed. That means he can't come back, I think. Okay, right, we're done with that guy. Let's move on to the rest of the core Rouse units. Right, coming back down to see if we can get another 1.5-1 with a bold attack. On the next unit, we would be, this guy's a 3. So yeah, he does have 4 strength. So, well, possible, but unlikely. What did we say? Oh, wait a minute. No, he's got a +1 though, isn't he? So he's a 3 strength. He gets +1 for being adjacent to a supplied Soviet unit though. Defender adjacent to supplied Soviet unit is a +1, and he get a -1 for being unsupported. So he's still a 3. 43. Oh, here we go. I don't think so. Okay, no, 43 is 1.3. So that's not quite. So he needs, yeah, he really needs something with 2 strength, doesn't he? 3 strength's not good. Well, hello. What about you down here? Yeah, you'll do. In Belgorod. 1, 2, 3. Right, this guy is unsupported as well. He's not getting any pluses though. So he's a -1. So that's 42. Okay. Right, well, he's going to move as well. Now, hang on. Well, the restriction he might have been interfering with was like leaving this guy in dangerous round, but as long as he moves to a hex, 1, 2, 3. I think even if he goes here though, it's alright, is it not? This guy, because he'd be breaking zone of control. Yeah, I can only get to this hex or 1, 2, 3. Well, you can get to either one of these 3 hexes, but I don't think that puts that guy in dangerous round, does that? Because that's still a restriction. No, it's not. No, it's not, Grant. Don't cause any German unit in hex and Soviet support to be put in dangerous round. We're not in Soviet support. So, don't cause Soviet proximity we need to concern ourselves with. And second and third bullet, we don't cause surrounded Soviet unit to be unsurrounded. We do care about that one. We're not surrounding, and we're not leaving proximity. Yeah, he's fine. And even if this guy is put in dangerous round, it doesn't matter because he's outside Soviet support. So one of these 3 hexes, now I don't know if this guy's going to be able to come and join him. I don't think he is because he is surrounding. So it looks like just a 1. Yeah, I can see this being a part by itself now, the way it's going on. So just take it easy, Grant. Don't try. I was trying to maybe rush things there a little bit so I could add it on. Because I didn't really start off by saying it was a new part. But I can always add that in the header. It's not a big deal. I don't even need to make any fancy introductions. What was I looking for there? Yeah, I suppose 10.54 again. Well, he's not surrounded. It's exactly the same, Grant. It's going to be most movement points, isn't it? Yeah, because there's nothing round about him. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, it's going to be there, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And situationally, I had 4 against 2, didn't he? Yes. So you had 2 to 1, which is greater than 1.5, 2 to 1. Yes. And that's where he left. Like I say, because all this is outside the Soviet support, it's easier now. We don't need to worry. And the fact we don't need to care about ending in dangerous round ourselves. Although the card allows that anyway. So I think I can just happily take that off. But yeah, I thought this guy could maybe have won 1, 2, 3, 4 down to help him, but he is going to be removing surround from this stack. So he's going to be restricted to move, and the rest of the guys can't come down. So again, it's just a one-off attack here. Right, I'll get positioned a bit better. Okay, so not going to be so much in this. Yeah, all active units brought a smart qualifying target, move to target and attack. Yeah, there wasn't any other options, Grant, was there? No, he was a 2 and yeah. Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, I suppose this guy in here's a 2 as well, but he was too far away from him, Grant, I think. It was there, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, only 1 hex by, Grant, to be honest. I was in there, wasn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it must have been. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I was 1 short of reaching this guy too, because he would be a 2 strength as well. So we would have to break that down a little bit. But there's nobody else nearby. All the other stuff. This is all. Well, this isn't that much bigger. It's because he's getting the +1 that makes that one work, isn't it? Yeah. Right, okay, so that's the weakest target. We're going to go with that. So he's got 4 to 3, so he's only 1-to-1 odds. However, hang on, engineers again. Forgot about that. That adds 2 strength. Yeah, because he's not. Now, does it matter he's in a town or not? No. Remove an IP marker from defender present prior to resolving combat. If no IP is present, instead add 2 to the attacker's combat strength. The defender may not play the combat engineer's combat tactic. Okay, so he just gets to add 2. Oh, that's taking it to 2-to-1, isn't it? That's quite crafty. Right then, okay. Oops, not a 6 grant. 2. Doesn't make it any worse than it is. Okay, so 2-to-1 with engineers, and then at the moment only chip pools are just 2. 1 for the unit, 1 for the engineers. However, he is going to draw another combat tactic, so let's see what we get this time. Another 40 core card, 2+ air power. If drawn during combat and not applied, return to deck and shuffle. It will apply. So he gets air power in the combat 2, which doesn't add any strength, but adds another chip pool. Okay, and we're not in any supply issues this time with this guy, so now we can play a card, I suppose. Well, I think the only one I would maybe consider would be NKVD, and on defense it is reduce Soviet hits by 1. Soviet units may not retreat. It's quite a good one to think about here because I don't really want to retreat. I mean, I'm in a 2 victory point city. The cards left in the deck. There's 2 cards left in the deck. He's only got 2-to-1 odds and 3 chip pools. And he's only got air power. He's not got armour, not got flank. We're in a town, remember? I'm not playing him in. We're in a city even. No, I'm not playing him in. No. And if you get a result, then yeah, I'll not say what I'll do. But anyway, right. Minimum of 2 chip pools, maximum of 3, 2-to-1 odds. Yeah, okay, and he's got air power. So let's get the minimum to, well, not good. Here was another 5-to-1, by the way, D2, just to rub it in even more. Right, okay, so here's one. So it's defender, dispersed, unsupplied, or not supported. And we are not supported. So that is an A-1 and a D1. Oh yeah, and I forgot he would have been breaking off at A1 this time. So, I mean, fortunately the city's soaking up that D1, but we've got one more chit to draw, and he is going to draw it, so here we go. Okay, we get a result this time. Flank attack on the front, 1 hex attack, which does apply. So takes the hit away, that doesn't matter anyway. So that's the 3 chits pulled, so nothing happening there. No hits to either party. No air power drawn, that card goes away. And it was used though, so it's not going to shuffle in. Okay, on to looking at the next part of the puzzle. I get the feeling I've run out of options now. There's 3 of these units are only 2 strength. This is a 3 strength. Mind, we've got to consider them individually, so yeah, I mean, I'm looking for something with 2 strength. Maybe with this guy, but I mean, he is surrounded as well. Yeah, and the 2s need to find something with 1 strength, don't they? So no, I think we can wind that up now. So there's still 4 units to do something. So the next attack is strong attack, so I get the feeling, hang on, I'll budge some counters about there. Yeah, so strong attack is 6 units of strength of active unit stat and other active units. Okay. So they're gonna get to join together this time. And they're preferring a target in the VP hex, funnily enough. Well, right, in ascending order, this guy's next. So he's a lead unit to check. 4 times, right. I mean, come on, 4, 8, is it 12? It is 12. I mean, let's forget about this stack, right? Because it's getting a +1, -1, so that is 12. We're not getting 4 times 12. This one gets a -2, so this one's a 3. And this is a 3 as well, because he gets a +1, -1. So they're both 3s. Now, the preference from there would be VP hex, because that is... It's actually preferring the VP hex before weakest, so it's actually not considering this 3. But he can't get there. He's surrounded. However, he can look here. That is right, isn't it? Yeah, he's a lead unit. We're doing a check. He's checking to see if he can prefer a target in a VP hex with the right amount of strength. I don't know if we're getting the strength for this anyway, but so he can. But then the weakest is going to be a 3. So can we get 12? Don't think so. 3, 5, 7, 9. No, we can't. So 9, even if we could get around, they're both 3s, aren't they? So yeah, we need 12 strength at least to carry that out. And 9, 4 times, we'd need something that was a 2 and be able to get everything at it. And this guy's already been attacked anyway, so he was a 2, but they weren't getting down to that. Okay, we're done with our nonsense attacking, I think. Right, okay, so back to just the normal steps. Sorry. This might happen a bit more now, because the camera is heavier, the phone's heavier obviously. And I don't like it all stiff and I'm moving it about like that, so I want it to like move about freely, but okay, right, where are we? Right, okay, on with the rest of the action steps then. So that was 3 and 4. 5, move proximate to empty Soviet VP hex if not already proximate. No, I mean, the only empty one we have now is away down the bottom corner here. Yeah, none of the guys are going to get proximate to that with an infantry move, so we can bypass that. Yeah, okay. Move to hex that causes surround of Soviet unit. Well, possibly. I'm not so sure they can get up the back. This would go in descending order, wouldn't it? Yeah. So 11 here. Well, he's already surrounding, so because admittedly 1, 2, 3. No, I can't quite get down here anyway. Well, it doesn't matter. He's going to break a restriction by moving away from surround. Unit 10 is here. Could he surround anything? Oops. Let me move along a bit then, Grant. If we're going to look, I'll zoom out a little bit. Let you see. 1, 2. You can see that I can't get up to here, for instance, and you know, getting into here, you can't do that either. So no. Well, hang on. No, he's already surrounded, Grant. What are you talking about? Right, what about Unit 9 though? I don't think so, because it's going through the woods. So it's 1, 2, 3, breaking zone of control. Yeah, you can't get up to here either. Yeah. So we can't... Yeah, this guy can't move. These guys can't get around. We can't get surrounded on this guy either. He's going to have an out hex here or here, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, surely, Grant, surely. So, step 7, move to hex that enables supply trace from German occupied hex. I think we're okay with that, to be honest, because this guy moved before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get up to that road. This guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to the road. Yeah, no. And there's not any other German units that can't trace supply. I mean, these might be in trouble, but I'm just not so sure where we are now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's not able to trace supply. However, again, this is a situation where we're trying to help a unit that's surrounded, or can't move one hex. It's not helping me by moving a unit down here. That won't help this guy trace supply. So even if I could get down there, for that matter. Right, step 8. Right, so move to hex in unit's army area and adjacent to Soviet unit, not already adjacent to German unit. In ascending order. Right, these are all adjacent. No, they're not. Unit 9's not. I still can't quite get my head around this one. Hang on. Move to hex in unit's army area. Right, okay, that's between the two lines here. And adjacent to Soviet unit, not already adjacent to German unit. Well, it does. This is looking at units. Why did I say he wasn't adjacent? Right, he is. So I don't think any of them move unless they're adjacent. Unless they're not adjacent. Move to hex in unit's army area and adjacent to Soviet unit. Because, you know what, I think this might be better worded in the rulebook, and I've not looked at that one yet. This is from turn 8. Step 8. Move the unit to a hex in the unit's army area and adjacent to a Soviet unit to which no other German unit is adjacent. Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same, to be honest. Move the unit to a hex in the unit's army area. It's still not preventing me from moving away from a unit. So, yeah, in ascending order, right. Because, I mean, it's not just straightforward case of, okay, he's adjacent, whereas step 8 in the previous action step was if not adjacent, move closer, if not adjacent. But this one's not saying if not adjacent. So Unit 6 would be first in ascending order. Well, he can't move. Unit 9 would be next. Now, can he move adjacent to a Soviet unit that's not already that's not already adjacent to a German unit? No, I mean, this German unit's adjacent to this German unit's adjacent to this. No. Yeah, it's looking for a Soviet unit sitting by itself, isn't it? Yeah, that's right, I think. Because if I'm looking at Unit 9, move to hex in unit's army area and adjacent to Soviet unit, not already adjacent to German unit. Yeah, no, that's not going to apply for any of the units. They've all got a German unit adjacent to them. Yeah, okay. Right, step 9, move in forward direction. And ascend in order. Well, he can't move. He can't move from there to there. He can move from there to there. Okay. move in forward direction. Oh, does it move any, give any more details? Move the unit in direction indicated by the forward movement arrows. Well, if he did that, he's not surrounding that unit, so 1, 2, braking zone of control, 3, 4, so he would move to there. Don't cause Soviet proximity to empty, no. Don't cause any German unit in hex and Soviet support to be in dangerous round, no. And then we skip the next one. Don't cause surrounded Soviet unit to be unsurrounded. Don't add mech units in marsh. Well, I think he is going to move then. Because he wasn't causing surround. No, the unit's got, he had an out hex here and here. Well, that's quite nice for us then, isn't it? Yeah, I feel that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to stop there. He doesn't care if he's in dangerous round anyway. Not that he is, I don't think. But, yeah, okay. And then Unit 11, well, he'd like to think about doing that, but he is restricted because 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, but he then leaves this unit unsurrounded, so he won't move. Remove dispersed marker from the unit. Any units that are dispersed in core rouse, there is not. That's it then. How did that go? Well, not great really, did it? Well, Belgorod held. It was only getting attacked by a 4-strength infantry unit, but right, that's their activation over. Impulse over. Just going to straighten that guy out. I think that's going to have to be me for the night now. Yeah, hopefully get watch. Well, we lost this as well. I did adjust victory points for that. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So yeah, so sitting at 18. But I mean, could have been worse. I mean, this still held, but only just. There's only one step now, and like I say, if we don't get a supply trace for that by the start of the next turn, then he's going to go. He's gone. And that's if we even get to there. I mean, you've seen the pitiful effort we had from the 40th Army to try and remove that guy, and he's still sitting there. And then, yeah, it's... No, I have to say turn 9's not started any better than what turn 7 finished with. And remember, if you think I'm missing a turn in between, that's because it was a heavy mud turn and done very little. Okay, yeah, I better get away from now, guys. I think we've spent enough on it today. Well, yeah, I guess I'm hanging in again still, but not really feeling like I'm getting much love, to be honest. It's all bad and worse, and yeah, it looks bad. I think we're going to struggle to see this turn out. Really, I do. And you know, I might be having to sort of forget about trying to use this for the expedite reserves, because it could well be that we need this now rather than getting extra reserves next turn. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I can't guarantee we're going to be here next turn. So, whereas this might give a bit of an opportunity to break out of this, but I mean, I'm still going to have to. I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I can't get a supply trace for that guy. I'm as well giving up on that. But that's 2 victory points. That takes us to 16. Then we cannot lose any more. In actual fact, we maybe should just settle here. But then you've got this guy kind of vulnerable on his own. But then he is only threatened by this, and then all of these maybe. And then this guy. Oh, I'm going to struggle to get through this. Yeah, I'll maybe start reading up on the German soul rules. Okay. Right, I'll be back tomorrow at some point, no doubt. Cheers, guys. Right, hi all.
this is going to be a continuation of part 85, and this is just showing this mistake and how I propose to fix it. So you've seen all the combat regarding, well, you've seen all the impulsive core rouse. A couple of things that happen. I mean, it's the very first part about this unit moving up and attacking here that I can correct. Everything else happens to stay the same. I think this unit moves in, that's the first move, isn't it? This unit moves in, takes the victory point. We've adjusted that. Then we have this attack up here. We draw the cards bold attack and strong attack. So it's bold attack we're looking at. We're looking up here. But let's just jump to the after this combat. This unit moves from here down to here and makes an attack here. That would be exactly the same as it was. So whatever you saw there is exactly the same. Combat tactics drawn were exactly the same. And then after the bold attack, we couldn't find the strong attack. We then moved on to the final action steps, and then I believe this guy moved. Did he move from here? 1, 2, 3, 4. With forward arrows, he came down to here. That would have been exactly the same as well. So it's really just about this bit here to make a fix to. So, like I say, back in turn 59, and Ramon spotted this, that this guy could trace 7 hexes to here, and this hex was on a supply road that could trace supply. So he should have been marked out of supply and not isolated at the time. Sorry, no, that's wrong. He should have been marked. Right, let me put the right counter back as well. He should have been marked in supply, and he hadn't taken any step losses then, right? Now, I had showed him at that time with a step loss, so he was 3 strength, and I'd showed him isolated. And that's why that unit acted the way it did, and the attack ended the way it did, with this unit taking another hit down to 2 strength. However, that wouldn't have happened. This unit would have been like this when, like I say, when Ramon spotted that error in that supply phase. He should have been in supply. Now, what happened after that was, the thing that happened relevant to this situation was we were deploying all these Rouse units, having quite a hard time with it, and then eventually this Rouse unit was the last one to get put. 9, 10 and 11 got placed. Right, we've got 9, 10 and 11. They got placed, we eventually got them right. 10 was up there, I think, 9, 10 and 11 or something like that. And then this unit then was next to be deployed. It was this guy, wasn't it? Or was it the 4? Wait till I get that right. Hang on. Right, yeah, I had to go back and check on this slightly. This was a unit that came on the turn 8, so it was deployable on turn 8. And I think it just automatically came out in turn 9. Was it? Anyway, this guy got deployed first, and then this guy, he was deployed in turn 9 when we drew a core rouse card. Was it actually on turn? Well, it must have been. We're only on turn 9, aren't we? So then he got deployed, and he got deployed down in this hex here, and the main reason being he was removing dangerous sound from this unit, right? So I've looked back on that and I find that all correct. However, he was deployed after this unit, so sorry, I know this is messy, but anyway, so we had deployed this guy here, and the reason being was that he wasn't in dangerous surround. Now, okay, he's outside Soviet support, but remember the preferences come down to VP hex, within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core, hex that removes dangerous surround from our German unit. I couldn't find any more of that because we had cleared all that up at the time. And then the next preference is not in dangerous surround. Well, when that guy was isolated, as he was, this guy was in dangerous surround. However, this guy's status is now, sorry, I've not put that back on. This guy's status in the next again turn was out of supply. Because although he was able to trace supply in part 59, which my guess was it was turn 7, when we moved into turn 9, he could then not trace. And I know I'm sounding like I'm skipping turn 8 there, but remember turn 8 is the mud
was a mid turn, and you don't adjust, you only remove supply, no, out of supply and isolated markers, I think it was. What is that? What have I done now? You know, that's a full strength. Yeah, that's right, because he's still full strength. Because we had him losing that step as well, because he went isolated, and then there must have been another turn. Yeah, it's when I'm marking him out of supply that I actually have him isolated, and then that's when he loses a step. So he's not lost a step, but he's now out of supply. So okay, so going back to deploying this unit, that's the status of that guy. That's the status of that guy. Now mech units can move 2 hexes when they're out of supply, so he can move in there now, and this guy can move in there surrounding this. Whereas this was isolated before, he wasn't surroundable in that hex. So I looked at it, and then I thought this was a hex we talked about. I looked over things, and I found that was a legal deployment. Now, you might say, well, hang on, he's in danger around here, but remember this unit has moved down from here. So this unit was here when I was deploying him. So he is not in danger of surrounding that hex. He's still within 3 of his core, and he would have been the priority over other options, and it wouldn't have been this hex. Okay, so right, let's now move on to when we're activating Core Rouse this turn, and we've just drawn, we've moved the unit into the victory point hex first, because that was the first part of the action step. We've now drawn our 2 action cards, and we're looking at bold attack, and we're looking at unit 1 doing his thing, right? Now I've just got to remember that again, this guy is here at the moment. I don't want to move him back there, but he is here. Now I then thought, is this guy still a consideration for him? Well, he actually, fortunately, is, because he gets a -1 for being out of support, he gets a -1 for being out of supply. Whereas before he got a -2 for being isolated and a -1 for being out of support. So he's only getting a -2 now, but he's only at 4 strength. So that takes him down to a 2, right? And there's not another option that is better than a 2. This guy here is -2, -1 for being out of supply, -1 for being unsupported. That takes it at 3, so he's not the weakest. Remember, we are looking at weakest here, bold attack card. And these guys round here are, this guy's a 3, but he's a +1 minus. Yeah, he's a +1 -1. But he's a 3 anyway, and I don't think that guy could get around here. So this guy is a 2, so he's still going to move in on that. And I'm not quite sure of the outcome, to be honest. I've not looked at the chits, because I'm going to lay out the same chits, same combat tactic and everything, and see what the result is. But I know the result is better for me anyway, because his status right now is out of supply rather than isolated. Well, isolated with a step loss I had him. He's actually out of supply with no step losses at all at the moment. So it's a far better situation to be in. So he does still have 2-to-1 odds. Now that's his weakest target. He's looking for 1.5 to 1 approximate to, so he's going to be able to get that. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, whereas before I had him, because he was isolated, I could go around any of these hexes. Bearing in mind he was in here to start with. Now his options are 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are his 2 hex options. They're both empty. They're both the same amount of movement points. So it is going to be the lowest hex number. So that's going to be there. So he's going to move there and attack this guy. So slightly difference there. I think we ended up with him round the back there, didn't we? Like I say, that was because he started closer and the unit was isolated. So now we can work out the numbers. Right, let me adjust things a little here. Right, okay, I've got myself in a bit better position there. So the numbers are, right, he's got 5. Now remember, there's engineers on this, so we know that's going to give a +2. So that's 7. So his base strength is 7 against 4. So he's only getting 1.5 to 1, right? Whereas he was getting 2 to 1 before, because remember this unit was reduced.
So 1, I'll put a 1 there, but it is 1.5, isn't it? What did I say, 74? Yeah, that's 1.5, surely. Okay. Yeah, and it's only 3 steps attacking, so he's going to break off at A1, okay? But that could be relevant this time, remember, because this unit is not isolated. He's not going to ignore all hits. He is going to benefit slightly, I think, but anyway. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw the card we drew for his combat tactic, and then we can just work everything out for there. That's probably better. So it was Army Group South that he drew for the combat tactic, which gave him intelligence and artillery. So has that adjusted the odds? So intelligence now, has that changed any? Let me see here. Intelligence, German attack. So the CV card, the card is considered a 5. I can't play combat tactics, that's fine. If the printed CV is a 4 or 5, well, it wasn't, it was a 2, so that didn't come into it. However, 5 plus if the attack's hex is not in Soviet support, we disregard the first hit incurred by the Germans. So that does apply, whereas it didn't really before, because the guy was isolated, he was ignoring all the hits anyway. So that's intelligence and artillery. He's got 1.5 to 1. And now what does out of supply do again? Does it give him 1 extra chip pool? Out of supply, if all defenders in combat are unsupplied, attacker gains 1 combat chip and disregards 1 attacker hit. So that's 2 attacker hits they're now ignoring. 1 for the out of supply, 1 for the intelligence, and they get 1 extra combat chip. So he is actually going to draw 1 less combat chip because he got 2 extra before for being isolated. So what do we have then? We still have 1.5 to 1. Chip pools we have are 2 for the unit because he's a 3-stepper. 1 for the engineers, that's 3. 1 for intelligence is 4. 1 for artillery is 5. And 1 for the out of supply rather than 2 for the isolated takes it to 6. So it's 1.5 to 1 with 6 chip pools. So slightly different odds and chip pools here for the combat. So yeah, now I'm going to have to hunt down the chits and find out what the result actually was. Okay, I was getting myself a bit confused there because I've actually put the wrong unit in here. I've picked it out. It's this guy here that should have been there. Because he was 3 steps, 4 strength, 7 movement, and I picked the wrong one out the thing. So it's actually he's 3 steps, still the same strength, so that was correct. And this unit had already. No, he's still in there. Where does he come from then? I've got him in there. Has he not been? Right, hang on. I'm confused to where he is then. Okay, I found him. I'll not adjust the camera because I've got a king set. He's the unit that came in later on in Kharkov. He's that 6 strength, 7 movement. So, sorry, yeah, I placed that wrong unit in there. But that is the correct unit. And he didn't have any step losses. He's 3 steps. He's out of supply. Same situation, same odds. So, let me get the first 2 chits that were drawn are... Right, there's the first 2 chits, and I go through whining about what could have been in the last attack, because they all turn out to be pretty high odds chits, which was what in my attack, and yeah. So that was the first 2, no changes there. We're looking at 1.5 to 1, only with 6 chip pools. However, because he was 3 steps, there should have been a minimum of 3, and that was the 3rd chit that was drawn. It was 71 on the other side. I was whining even more now. And flank attack. So again, that doesn't apply. So I need only 3 more, and I know I draw 4, but we're only going to look at the first 3. Okay, so that was the 4th chit. Also didn't apply. More whining by Grant because it's 6 to 1 with 4 to 1 on the other side. So still doesn't apply. We've only really got 2 more to draw. Okay, so this was chit number 5. First chit that did apply, and it still does apply. Less than 3 to 1. It is a hit to them. Remember, they're getting to ignore the first 2 hits. More whining by myself is 5 to 1 on the front side. So 1 more to go. Okay, and that is the last chit that would have been drawn, should have been drawn. Now we ended up drawing one extra one. That does give a D1, so we're sitting at D1A1. Now he ignores the first two hits, so he's taking no hits. Now this guy is in a city, so he would ignore this hit. This was the last chit that we did draw when it was 7, and although 6 chit pools would have still applied to large attack, I wouldn't have drawn this chit. So I'm not going to draw this chit. And that, okay, that's how it would have went. So there would have been no effect to this battle, as it is. Now this guy's still out of supply. He's not able to trade supply just now. This unit's round the front rather than round the back. But that is how things should have panned out, in my opinion. And I know there was a lot of rewind to try and fix that, but you can see there wasn't really that much to adjust. It was really just the deployment of this unit and this attack. Well, and obviously adjusting the supply status and step loss status of that unit. So hopefully you're alright about that. I feel okay about it because I'm like getting battered about something stupid right now. So, but by all means, if anybody wants to chime in and sort of say something different should have happened. Now after the attack, nothing would have nothing else was different. Like I say, the other moves, the other attack that happened would have just been the same, and the movement of that unit that moved with these arrows. Yeah, like I say, after that there was nothing else that could carry out the bold attack or strong attack. No, sorry, my bad. This guy did, didn't he? He came from, here, down to here, had an attack on this guy with no effect, fortunately for us. That would have happened exactly the same. Now there might have been a chip pool because that large attack wouldn't have applied. There might have been a chip pool that might have been in the wrong place. Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't like these things, but I think it's worth the fix. You know, you might be saying, well, you would say that, Grant, because it's benefiting you. But like I say, I would have done exactly the same if it had been the Germans that were benefiting from this. If I can fix it, I'll fix it. Even though it takes, you're going back lots and lots of parts to try and do it. So anyway, this guy did come down with a bold attack on this. We had nothing to do the strong attack. These units done nothing at all. And then the final thing was this unit moved with, what was it again? Yeah, movements, action step 9, move in forward direction. And he moved away from this. Yeah, that was legal as well. Now, yeah, just looking up here, I did look at this also at the time as well. Now remember, him moving into there would actually have been moving into dangerous ground when he moved. But remember, bold attack allows for that. And we're also beyond action step. Sorry, we're also beyond turn 8, which states that all actions can end in dangerous round. And also bear in mind, this is out of support as well. So okay, hopefully that's that fixed. I'm going to put this on the end of the part that you've just seen, the combat, and that is an adjustment. Yes, it did help us, but I think we need all the help we can get. Okay, right, I will now look into starting part 86. Okay, cheers guys.